I'm Bily Foster, and I'm that iPad guy. Called that because I've almost always got an iPad with me, and in some cases, two. Today we're talking about Slingbox. After my miserable fiasco with Simple TV and its issues, I've gone back to using the cable-provided DVR. However, that only solves half the problem that I was looking to resolve by using Simple TV. Yes, I can time shift, but I cannot place shift. So I cannot remotely access my cable and, more importantly, my news feeds. So for a solution, I turned to Slingbox. Now, I've been a big fan of Slingbox since their standard TV place shifting boxes came out in the early 2000s. My boxes have long since died, but I still have access to the apps, so I thought now was the time to check out their new HD versions. The Slingbox 500. Now, this is a quick summary of this unit. It's the unit that has Wi-Fi and HDMI built in, but it doesn't work, at least with Cox Cable here in Phoenix, through the HDMI port due to encryption. So you can either have the TV signal go to the TV or to the Slingbox, but it can't go to both. And in order for you to be able to access it when you leave the house, you have to unhook the cable to the TV. Not a very good solution. Aside from that, it was very easy to set up, but due to the limitation of not being able to use the HDMI port, I went ahead and switched it out and got the cheaper Slingbox 350. After learning about the disappointing news of the Slingbox 500, I was pleasantly surprised that the Slingbox 350 was $130 cheaper. Sure, it didn't have the Wi-Fi, but I really didn't need that. I already have a network jack next to my TV for a variety of other reasons, one of which included the original Slingbox. Now, I'd be lying if I said that it was a perfect operation, but I'll say it's a much smoother one and a more polished operation when it comes to setup, access, and control over any other device that I've been testing to resolve these situations. Now, in fact, one of the best parts about Slingbox is how they've recreated the remote to display on screen when you're viewing via web or iPad. Let me show you here real quick. When you open up Slingbox, you can connect. While it's connecting, what it's doing is hooking up to the server, finding my Slingbox on the internet, pulling the video feed from there, encrypting it, and sending it up to the internet back down to my iPad. And now you're seeing TV from my house. Now, if I want to change a channel or pull up any of the guides, there's the remote. Now, this is the actual remote from my DVR, so it works one-to-one, just like I would at home. Now, one of the additional benefits that Slingbox has added, which is really nice, is if you tap on the guide comes up on screen, and this is a Slingbox guide versus the one on your DVR, so that way if someone is watching at the house, they don't have the guide come up and get in their way, and I can check to see what's going on. I can also change the channel by tapping on the show. Did it work? There we go. Oh, see, it's asking me, are you sure you want to change the channel? And now what I can do is pull this up, hit B to cancel, and I got a crash. Oh no. What did it do? Oh, it asked which channel I wanted to stop recording on. I didn't pay attention to that. Let me go back here. Get the last channel. I thought it crashed on me. I was wrong. There we go. Now it went back to, oh, it went to C-SPAN. That's not what I wanted. 1063. That was my bad. There we go. Back on MSNBC.
Maybe I could raise taxes a little.
And I've got my cable. I've got the whole system right here. I can pull up all my DVR recordings. It's awesome. Of course, on the iPhone, due to the lack of real estate, you don't get the same on-screen remote. You get one that recreates the functions, but doesn't have the actual graphics. But it's easy enough to use on the phone as well. It's great that the system works over cell. However, my Sprint connection, while unlimited, gave me less than perfect results for remote viewing. However, I was able to hear everything pretty clear once the connection stabilized. The video was very artifacty, but I'll chalk that up to a lack of bandwidth from Sprint. Once I was on Wi-Fi, the picture cleared up pretty quick and looked HD, or at least close enough to HD for me. The Slingbox is one of those devices that once you set it up, it just kind of sits there and does its job. There aren't much configuration changes or tweaking that needs to be done after the initial settings are put into place. Everything else happens inside of the app or via the Slingbox website. This is something to keep in mind while evaluating this investment. While you do not have any monthly fees, you do have the added cost of purchasing the viewing app for your mobile device, or in my case, devices. This is the one thing that is annoying for me because you have to buy a license for each platform. So while I have an iPhone and an iPod Touch, iPads, Kindle Fire, and Android tablets, you have to purchase a separate license for each platform, and each one runs about $30. However, right now there is a holiday sale, and all the apps are 50% off, so it runs about $15 temporarily. Yes, I could go cheap and just use the iPhone app on the iPad. However, I'm not going to get the higher resolution, the full-featured remote, and so it was just worth it, especially at the $15 price range. And of course, once you own a copy, you can load it on all of your different devices. So I can load this on all of my iPads, including my iPad mini. Unlike the Simple TV, instead of getting 5 remote viewers, you can only have 1 remote connection at a time. All in all, the Slingbox system works great. Now, instead of having a second cable box in my home office, I can now Slingbox the program into the office with all the features of my cable DVR without the additional expense. And I can't wait to give this a test run while we're on the road next time. Slingbox only has 2 models out currently. The 350, which is component only, that's the 5 cable HD connection, and then the 500, which has component, HDMI with Wi-Fi access. Just be sure to check to see if it will work with your cable provider via HDMI. So that wraps up another episode of That iPad Guy. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, circle me on Google+, and visit thatipadguy.com to subscribe. See you next time! Did I do that?